Dylan Jones. Dylan, please join us. Welcome back, Dylan.
Well, good morning, everyone. Standing room only for Paul Smith. So Paul Smith is one of Britain's most successful fashion designers. He opened his first shop in Nottingham nearly 50 years ago in 1970, and since then has expanded to over 70 countries. Not only is he a much celebrated and iconic designer, he was one of the first British designers to sell his clothes internationally, cementing a relationship with Japan early in his career, and since then has forged relationships with retailers, department stores, journalists and buyers all over the world. Essentially what Paul did was create a brand, market a brand, protect a brand, grow a brand that remains one of the most inspirational in the industry. There have been few other designers who have had such an impact on the design sensibility of Britain or indeed the world. Next year, he celebrates 50 years in business and, saliently, he is still independent. Will you give a huge round of applause for Sir Paul Smith, please? Come on!
Hi, mate.
Thank you, Paul.
Very nice to be here in Istanbul. It's a lovely city, isn't it? It's brilliant. Thanks for coming. That's me on the flying carpet. That's me as a cyclist. Poor old Dylan, he's got to interview me. It's not so easy.
He never stops talking. Paul, 50 years, huge achievement. You must be incredibly proud that you're still going, still independent.
Yeah, 50 years. I think I started when I was 8 years old.
Of course you did.
No, 50 years next year. I started with a shop that was 3 meters by 3 meters, only open Fridays and Saturdays. And my business is still run from the heart. Of course, financially, luckily, it's done very well, but it's always just been the joy of life and just having a nice day every day. That's been the point. Sorry, everybody, I'm good that way too.
One of the most telling things, I think, is that when people come to London to visit, and they might go into one of your stores, particularly the Westbourne Grove store on a Saturday or a Sunday, you're in there. You're in there, and you're selling. And you go in and you have a look and you talk to customers.
Yeah.
I mean, very few designers do that.
I'm the Saturday boy in most of my... I work in one of my shops every Saturday for 2 hours, 3 hours. And I've never, ever forgotten who pays my wages. And, of course, it's lovely to do this and it's lovely to get wonderful press. But the final thing is that a customer comes in and likes what you do. And
there must have been occasions over the last 50 years when people, large companies, have come to you and said, this is the check. Yeah. You tell me how much you want and we will take and buy your business.
Yeah, we've had a lot of, in the last 20 years, we've had lots of people trying to buy Paul Smith. And I just think, well, how would it make any difference to my life? You know, I don't aspire to private jets or many houses. I'm very at ease with what I do. So I just think, no, I don't need that. Thank you. I love the idea of spontaneity. You've probably seen a big pink building. I mean, that's the most Instagrammed wall shop in all of California. That's my shop in California. So one day I had the opportunity to open a shop in LA. I looked at the plan and I thought about California. I thought long streets, everybody's driving. Let's build something mad, like a bright pink shop. Well, if you're part of a big group, they'd say, is it part of the brand image? Is that correct? And I didn't have to ask anybody. The only person I asked is when I was shaving in the morning. Shall we own a pink shop? What do you think? Yeah, why not? Yeah. Thank you.
I remember going to Japan with you in 1995, and at that time there were lots of things in the press about what a superstar you were in Japan,
yeah.
And I obviously knew that you were successful, but until I actually went to Japan with Paul, I had no idea how successful he was. And I remember that we went to your store, I can't remember, it may have been in Shinjuku, was it?
Yeah.
And as we arrived, there were, I would say, a queue of people, because being Japan, it was a very orderly queue, but it was a queue that stretched, I'd say, 800 yards, and these people were queuing up to just basically touch your cloth, like this. And you're welcome. The cult of personality that you developed there was extraordinary. And how did that happen?
Yeah, I think it's because many other designers were being invited to go to Japan at that time, but they demanded so much, and they thought they could maybe go once or twice, and they could send pictures from their fashion show and a few colors, and they would make lots of money. I've been about 100 times to Japan. In the beginning, I used to go on my own for 4 times a year, and it was very, very hard work. But I slowly built up a team of people that were just very loyal. This picture that's on the screen now, I went to do a talk at the university, and they said there might be 600 people there, and there were 4,500 people there. So I had to do 2 talks back to back. It was absolutely crazy. I think just building up a team is the reason, and also humor. You see that picture of me on the flying carpet? That's a photograph by my father, who was a very humorous man. And when you were in Japan in '83, '84, almost nobody spoke English at all, and so through humor and through friendship, you could build a camaraderie. So at a meeting, you'd be going like this. And then in a meeting, and they'd all go, well, what's he doing? What's he doing? Then they would say, oh, Mr. Paul Smith, you are so funny. And then suddenly everybody was like, we like Paul Smith, yeah. And so eventually it just built like a family business, you know.
You mentioned your extraordinary shop in Melrose Avenue, this great pink thing here, which I remember the first time I saw it, I couldn't believe anyone could be so audacious. And it does. You drive up and down Melrose, and there are hundreds of people every day taking pictures. But talking about social media in particular, social media is obviously something which we have all had to embrace. It's fantastic for marketing. It has great benefits. It also has great negatives. It has a proven corrosive effect on young people. And it seems to me something that you naturally wouldn't adhere to because it's sort of mass market and a bit intrusive. What do you think about social media, and where do you think it's going to take us?
I mean, just starting with e-commerce, we started our e-commerce site in 2004. So we were very early, and our e-commerce site is now our biggest shop in the world, phenomenally successful. But with social media, I think everybody in this room if you can understand that everything in life is about balance, is about classical things and fun things. It's about social media and then personality and magazines. So it's all about balance. So if you can get the balance right in life, you'll should have a happy life. But if it's just extremes in one way or the other, unfortunately, I think you'll eventually go like this and then go like this. So I think social media is okay if it's balanced with a beautiful shop, real character, a point of view, a personality, and then it's probably okay.
One of the things which you probably foresaw more than anyone else is that retail environments have to be theatrical.
Yeah.
Particularly in an age where we now shop with impunity online, you need to be drawn into a retail environment. And you were very quick with that. You were very early in making your stores individual, particular, full of furniture, full of art, full of all the things now which we take for granted. Why did you think that was the way to go?
When I opened my first shop, which was so small, when the customer walked in, they were in front of you. So I needed something like to say, have you seen this pen? It's really nice. I needed to have like a prop, you know, something to make people feel relaxed. And I thought, oh, well, why, just because it's a clothes shop, why shouldn't you have ceramics for sale or paintings or objects? And then the other thing is that we have 12 in-house designers, some architects, furniture designers, so every porcelain shop around the world has got its own character. And our shops currently are running just a little bit up on last year, 1.6 up on last year, which for retail around the world, when many of them are down or closing, it shows you that if the shopping experience is a joy, and you get a nice conversation, and you could find an object as well as a nice shirt. And I think that balance between e-commerce and then the character of a shop, and the fact I work in the shop and I listen to what people want, and they all say, oh, it's so nice having a conversation. It's so unusual in today's world. Often you never see anybody anymore. You only see the top of their head. When you check into a hotel, when you go to a supermarket, it's not friendly. So we always encourage our staff to be positive, smile, eye contact, body language. It's very important.
Brilliant. Paul, fantastic. Always a great pleasure and a privilege to spend time with you. Thank you for coming to MARKA. Huge round of applause for Mr. Paul Smith, who has a plane to catch.
Yeah.